Hey guys, welcome back to Bryan's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. And first I want to apologize about the audio because I know it's tough, but I've been, hiking through the woods and I've got a lot to share with you guys, and I'm sorry about the upload schedule, but I've got a lot of videos in the making. I wanted to start out with some interesting things. So I've been hiking up along the Tahoe Rim Trail, which is also the PCT. This is a night shot of Lake Aloha. You can see it's quite beautiful. And then I've got another shot here of the moon. I just wanted to say that all this beauty is just so amazing, and the people out west are just incredible. I wanted to wish everybody a late happy 4th of July. I managed to catch this one fireworks show on video, which is heart shaped, which I thought was really cool. Now this is a video of what the forests looked like in the same spot last year. As you can see, they're very green and plush, full of floral and fauna. Now I'm going to show you a map of sort of the track that I've been tracking. I've been tracking up from Echo Summit up through Lake Tahoe, and today we're going to be discussing a missing hiker case and unfortunately a tragedy. This is a map of the Dixieland fire. Now this gray area is all where the fire was, and the purple line is the PCT. As you can see, it goes through a lot of the fire areas, so you have to be very, very careful when you're traveling through these areas. I can't express it enough. These fires, even though they have been put out, they're still smoldering underground at some point. So if a hiker is walking along and they see like an ash point, gray ash, sometimes that's a sinkhole and it can be very dangerous. So I just please ask you to be very cautious. Now this is a view of what this same area that I just showed you looks like now. Now some of it you can see is still green, but as we get closer you can see that it's just all burnt up from, this is both from the Caldor and Dixieland fire from last year, which were two of the worst fires in history out here. Now look at these trees, they're just completely annihilated, and it was just heartbreaking. I mean, tear-dropping when I saw some of these trees. Some of these campgrounds that I had camped at for years were closed because the trees were so beat up and they couldn't support the rocks, and they thought that they would fall down. Now I know it's hard to tell because it's just a video, but this is just so tragic because one of these fires was actually started by a human being. Now 90% of the forest fires out here are started by humans, which is just awful. So I just ask that you please be careful when you're out west or anywhere in general, because carelessness can cause horrible disasters, and nature is just so beautiful, but it can also be very devastating, and unfortunately a lot of humans are the cause of this devastation. And I just hope that moving forward that this won't happen as much, because it is so sad going through an area that was just beautiful once and is now devastated by forest fires, and the trees are all burnt up. I took some pictures of the trees and also some of the trucks that are hauling some of the burned trees out, just to show you the kind of damage. Today's case, we're going to be talking about a missing hiker that went missing in Lake Aloha, but first I wanted to tell you about some of the river training I've been doing. Also some of the crazy bear stories I've seen. So here's a bear, a black bear, that wandered into camp. I know this isn't the best video of him, but I only had a headlamp. But I'm going to show you another video to show you the same bear. As you can see, he's a full-grown adult male. He's just cruising along. Now this same bear actually broke into a man's car. Now this man left his car doors unlocked, obviously a mistake. The bear got in, the door shut behind him, and the bear was trapped inside. So the bear actually he could have done a lot more damage. Actually, he tore the hell out of the inside of the car, but he didn't break any windows. The man whose car this was, he was acting like this was a dog or something in his car. He was yelling at the bear. He said, "No, bear, get out of my car." The bear actually got out of the back seat, went into the front seat, put his pause on the steering wheel, the man was able to open the door and the bear ran off. A future lesson for anybody that's going to be car camping: they should always keep their doors locked. I also managed to meet a bunch of people along my journey, and I'm telling you guys this before I talk about the missing hiker because I wanted to tell you some positive things. I met 3 campers, and one of them was actually carrying an actual old-fashioned typewriter. When he got into camp, I could tell he was, disoriented, didn't know much about anything, but him and I talked. We hung out at my campsite. We looked around for the bear. Before he left me a typewritten note on his typewriter. He also wrote me a poem too, which I'm going to share with you because I just thought it was the nicest thing. The people out here are just amazing. Of course, I ran into a beaver, which is here, and the beavers are actually amazing. Even though for their size, they can tear down a birch tree, but they are extremely vicious. So if you ever see a beaver, don't go near it because they are nasty creatures. They are very sweet and cute, but they are very aggressive. In any event, here is part of the note that this gentleman wrote to me. I just thought it was the most beautiful thing. And I also met this other couple, a woman and a mother, who were camping, and they didn't have a lot of experience and they needed help. They left me another beautiful note too, which is I'm leaving you here. I'm going to read the notes and the poem at the end of the video because I know a lot of you aren't interested in that, but the adventures so far have been pretty crazy. The weather has been nice, the terrain has been tough. Thankfully, there have been very few forest fires. There have been some. Now this is just a video of me taking a picture of a flower. PCT that I've been following up towards Lake Aloha. This is the first case that I'm covering this year. I'm going to be covering a lot of cases on this channel. This is a picture of Lake Aloha. Now this is in the Desolation Wilderness in California, for those of you that don't know. Now the Desolation Wilderness, to camp through there, you need to have a permit. This is on the Tahoe Rim Trail, also the PCT. The PCT and Tahoe Rim Trail permits allow you to hike here. But as you can see, it's a very beautiful, beautiful spot. There's usually dozens of campers hiked around here and camped around here. Last year, I was camped around here in May, early May, when there was still snow on the ground. And there were still over a dozen campers here. But this young man, only 32 years old, went missing at Lake Aloha. I know it can be a little bit confusing, so I'm going to put a few maps up. Lake Aloha is located along the Pacific Crest Trail, also the Tahoe Rim Trail. It's also accessible by a lot of these other, if you see these dotted lines, these are other trails that weekenders can come and hike and camp there. It's very unusual that someone would disappear there because it is a very popular place and it's usually very heavily populated. This is a shot from Guthooks. This is one of the main campsites and where this gentleman went missing. This gentleman's name is Huang. He was 32, like I said, and he started his backpacking trip on the Tahoe Rim Trail. He started out near Mount Tillamook on Tuesday, June 22nd. On Monday, June 27th, a hiker saw his campsite with his bear canister, his backpack, but he also saw that his tent had been flipped upside down, along with his shoes that were, I guess, on the shores of Lake Aloha. At first, he wasn't sure of anything of it, but then after another day, the hiker passed and he went along the following morning. He saw the campsite virtually unchanged. The tent was still flipped over, so he obviously contacted Search and Rescue. The El Dorado County Search and Rescue was the ones in charge of the investigation. They discovered that Huang's wallet and his ID was still at the campsite. Of course, they alerted his family, and of course they did everything that was possible. They launched a chopper and of course did everything in their power, and they talked to the family. Eventually they used Facebook to try and reach out, but none of that worked, and they didn't end up finding him. And the tragedy of this case was that it was just so bizarre, because they did unfortunately end up finding him deceased without any real cause. And this is an area that, like I said earlier, is very heavily populated. I did hike up to Lake Aloha and looked around for clues, and of course I left one of the silver angels, which I've engraved any of the missing hikers' initials in the back. I've talked about this in other videos, but for those of you that are just watching now, I just want to let you know that I do that. What is so eerie, at least for me in this case, is that this gentleman was camped in the exact same spot that I camped at last year. And these are some of the camp spots with the X's that I stopped at. I also participated in some river training, which basically you just walk upstream with one hiking pole. It's actually a lot harder than it sounds. Sorry to digress, but getting back to Huang, I wish I could have done more for his family, and I just wish them all the best, and my thoughts and prayers go out to them. And I've actually been called out to help with a search and rescue up in Oregon with a nonprofit organization, which I'll talk to you guys about. But I just wanted to let you know I do apologize about the delay in upload schedule. It's just because I'm out in the woods and I'm getting all this footage and coverage, and I'm doing a lot of investigating, but I do have a lot of videos in the making. I'm covering many cases and working on many videos, so I appreciate your patience and thank you all for watching, and I will be producing many videos in the coming weeks, coming days. It's just sometimes I'm not in an area with a place where I can actually upload it. So I appreciate you being patient. And now for those of you that want to stick around, I'm going to read some of these letters and notes. First, I want to say special thank you to co.ag, and for all my viewers and people that watch, just thank you for watching. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted to read you some of these letters that people have left me as a thank you. It's just wonderful, just warms my heart. And I know a lot of you might not care, but to me it really makes a lot of difference. First letter reads, I'm glad our paths crossed and we got to share some stories and times together the last few days. I've gotten a kick out of talking with you. Thank you for welcoming me so warmly the first night, evening I arrived. Ever since, I will never forget the bears, your stories, walking to go check out the sage, the different places and answers to go when we ask each other questions. I wish you the best of luck. I appreciate your interest in aiding and interacting with others. I hope the people that you meet along the way, these next few days or these next months, enrich your life. Thank you. Much love. Be strong. Reach out anytime. And then he said, I've also enclosed a poem. Is beautiful, but I think it was just meant for me, and I think it's just right to share it, not to share it with the public. Now I got another note from these two nice, wonderful women that were camped across from me. Dear Bryan, thank you so much for your kindness that you shared with us. If it hadn't been for you, we wouldn't have felt safe. We were so scared the first night we got here. We wish you many blessed on your journey and hope that you will have good times, even though that you're doing dangerous work. And we will definitely follow you on Bryan's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. And then they left me this lantern that is solar powered, which I just thought was beautiful. I also met a gentleman named Jonathan out here who was just an awesome guy. He had just the most interesting job, and I just appreciate everybody that I run into. And if anybody wants to meet me, just please send me a text or get in touch with me via a comment. I'd love to meet you and help you in any way I can. I just want to say once again, thank you all for watching, and I am doing my best to get the videos uploaded. I've got a lot of footage and the videos are in the works, and they will be coming. So I appreciate you being patient and watching. So thank you so much. Once again, I'm sorry about my voice. I took some pretty bad stumbles when I was doing the river hiking, but nonetheless, it was fun. But I have a lot of scrapes and bruises and banged up a little bit. But anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.